Hello friends and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily Reddit content, or semi-daily Reddit content. You know how life gets, it just gets in the way, but I'm making time for you guys, so I hope you guys appreciate it. Today we're jumping into some rSlash, Entitled Parents. Yes indeed, I'm going to try and make this a beefy episode since we're only doing it every 2 days or so. So I picked out some quality, juicy stories, and let's jump right into them. No, ma'am, you cannot demand we hire your son. A few years ago, I worked at a store that dealt in used electronics. It was mostly movies, games, and pop culture merch, but we also sold a variety of items like cameras and headphones. It was a very popular store, due partly to the low prices and the fact that we generally paid more than our competitors for used goods. But customers also liked the atmosphere. Sounds like a cool store. Tell me where this is. The staff was very close-knit, and management encouraged a casual approach to customer service. So not only was it a cool place to shop, it seemed like a cool place to work, which it was. This meant that during all times of the year, we were flooded with applications. We actually had a new apps box behind the counter that had to be emptied for filing once a week because it would fill up. As a retail establishment, we did have a moderate turnover, but the store was small and only had 11 to 15 people employed there at any time, so we only occasionally picked up new hires. This didn't stop people from applying, especially recent graduates who were hoping that the cool video game store could be their first job. I was working the front counter at the time. Entitled Mom walked through the door. This happened a while ago, so the conversation is of course paraphrased. She approached me, and I smiled and greeted her. OP, hi, how can I help you? Entitled Mother, hi, can I speak to the manager? OP, oh, of course, but he's currently in the office on a call. He was. Is there something I can help you with before he's available? Entitled Mother, my son turned in an application a month ago, and he hasn't heard anything back. OP, apologetic, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. We get a lot of applications to the point where our employment manager can't call people back if they aren't accepted for an interview. This should be mentioned on the application, but I'm sorry if your son wasn't told that. However, we do keep applications on file for 6 months, so if a position opens up, we could still possibly consider him for employment. She huffed and rolled her eyes, giving me a sarcastic laugh. Entitled Mother, that's ridiculous! Are you guys prejudiced against hiring boys or something? What? I blinked at her. I was one of 2 girls employed at this location, compared to the 11 guys. Of the 4 people visible behind the counter, I was the only girl. OP, ma'am, I'm one of the only girls that works here. Entitled Mother seemed to notice this and began to sputter a little because she was getting flustered. She continued laughing sarcastically through her sentences. Entitled Mother, so what, are you prejudiced against hiring hard workers? Yeah, he works so hard he can't even come in to follow up on his own application. He has to have mommy do it. What a loser. I honestly didn't know what to say. I was trying not to laugh because it was such a weird response. OP? No, we just have a lot of applicants and the chances of getting picked are low. It's nothing personal. But if you'd still like to ask the manager about it, I can go see if he's finished on the phone. Entitled Mother, huffing, still laughing. Wow, she finds this really funny. No, never mind. This is just ridiculous. I'm taking my business to competitor. She stomped away. After she left, my coworkers and I just looked at each other and started laughing. We chatted about it for a little while, and when the manager came from the office, we told him about the encounter. He basically said what I said, that it was one application in a sea of many, and it wasn't personal. Honestly, if you come into a store and demand the manager hire your kid, it's probably only going to hurt their chances. Nobody wants to deal with someone's crazy parent hovering around the business all the time. What a disaster. I don't want to judge the kid too hard, you know. Maybe he didn't say, Mommy, please go in and follow up on the application. He probably didn't. He probably understood that, hey, not getting a call back means that they don't want to interview me, but the mom's like, that's ridiculous. You just have to go down there and talk to them. I'm gonna do it myself. No, that's not how things work in this day and age, okay? You can follow up on your own application and say, hey, I'm just trying to inquire, stuff like this. It usually doesn't change anything, but it does at least demonstrate that you're interested, and maybe you could hang out, you know, talk to the people, get to know some people, so somebody will give you like the thumbs up, like, hey, you should hire this guy. But if you're not willing to invest the time, you got like other plates spinning, then yeah, why would you bother to go in and hound employees over an application that was quite obviously rejected? One of my first jobs was working at a cool video game store. I worked at a Radio Shack for a little bit, and that's exactly how I got the job. I applied, and then they're like, oh, come back in a month. I totally came back in a month. I marked it on my calendar, walked back in there, and they're like, okay, I guess you're dedicated enough. Here's an interview. And then in the interview, they said, why do you want to work here? And I said, to make money. And they're like, oh, well, that was the right answer. None of this BS about company loyalty. They wanted you to say, to make money, so they could push you to sell cell phones and shit like that. So yeah, it's a legit strategy if you're like dead set on working somewhere, but if you're applying to 100 different places, then who has time to do that? You know what I mean? So I'm gonna believe that the kid was doing the right thing and shooting out applications everywhere and just didn't want to hound the people at this store, and that his mom is just whacked out of her mind. So yeah, I hope OP gets the job of his dreams, and I hope that his mother doesn't show up to ruin it for him. Anyways, let's jump into the next story. Friend's dad tried to steal my bra, claims I stole it from his wife, and then friend finds the stash of her other friend's undergarments. Oh my god. This is disgusting. User was deleted, so I don't know if this is fake. We'll take it with a grain of salt. So anyways, before we get into the story, my friend's dad was then divorced. Turns out that he was a child predator with loads of CP on his laptop and is currently in jail, and had about 5 restraining orders after the friends and the friend's parents that he stole the bras and panties from. Okay, how I found this out was my friend's birthday sleepover. We were swimming in her pool and we drank some wine coolers with her mom's supervision, still illegal, but we didn't get drunk, just slightly tipsy, because they're wine coolers, dude. So anyways, friend's dad had a strict no locked doors policy. Anyways, I decided to take a shower, so I of course locked the door. I was bathing in my friend's bathroom, so I had her bedroom door shut and the bathroom door locked, if that makes sense. Yeah, the bathroom is in the bedroom. Got it. Attached bathroom. So, I heard my friend's bedroom door open as I shouted, "Occupied!" out of the shower, and I got no response except the door shutting quickly, which I thought was one of the other girls walking in and seeing that I was in there. Anyways, I stepped out of the shower, and I stayed in the bathroom while I changed and dried off. All of a sudden, the bedroom door opens again, and when I said, "Occupied," the person didn't stop and went straight for the bathroom door as they jiggled the handle extremely violently and pounded on the door once. I stayed silent as I thought there was someone in the house trying to get to me. There is. 10 seconds later, I hear her dad's voice yell, "Open this damn door right now!" I'm already changed into clean clothes as I stayed silent and slowly opened the door. "Why the hell's the door locked?" he shouted as I apologized and explained that I was showering and I wanted privacy, and he said, "That was no excuse." I pushed that aside as I thought he was in a bad mood or something happened and he couldn't do anything because the door was locked. I stuffed my dirty clothes into my bag and went back to the party, which we were all settling down with sleeping bags since the living room was big enough for us. I set my bag down right next to me as I have some valuable stuff in the bag: phone, charger, money, ID, etc. We watched movies up until 4 in the morning, which is when we all started to go to sleep. I got a strange feeling about being watched, so I stayed up for another hour on my phone. I fell asleep. About an hour later, I hear a rustling next to my head. I opened my eyes to see the friend's dad squatting next to me, rumbling through my bag as he pulled out my dirty bra and underwear as he stood up. I screamed at the top of my lungs as everyone woke up. My stuff was everywhere as my friend's dad quickly dropped my stuff. I screamed, "What the f*** are you doing?" at him as everyone saw what he did and saw him drop my stuff. He tried to defend himself as his wife came rushing in. "I was making sure you didn't have any drugs," was the excuse he went with. I went over to the wife and explained what happened as the dad was saying that I'm a lying skank and that I forced him to hold my stuff. He was high or on crack, one or the other, as the husband was moved to a different room, and I explained to the friend what her dad did, and she told someone else, and I guess it spread around. Everyone was panicking as they were all making sure that the man didn't take their bras and panties. Then I hear the husband scream, "She stole your underwear!" And so I called the police. And then, 10 seconds later, I hear the wife scream as it was just a shit show. We all ran over to make sure she was alright as everything started to go to chaos. Girls were crying and panicking because he had an area which the wife didn't know about, and there were name tags for each underwear pile, like Cindy's underwear. Fake name. Oh god. There were also cum stains on some of them. The police arrived and we explained to them what happened as he was taken away. About a few months later, I went to court as my parents were pressing charges. I explained what happened and we won the case, and then another few months go by, and I was talking to the same friend, and she said her parents got a divorce and that her dad was in jail for CP and harassment. I have terrible spelling and grammar issues as I'm not good at typing in English, especially with longer stories like this. I type and speak French. Edit. I talked to the friend, and it turns out that her dad bought the wine coolers, trying to get us drunk, and her mother saved us from who knows what, because she cut us off on the wine coolers after like 2 drinks. Who knows what would have happened if we were all passed out drunk. Another edit. So I was again talking to the friend, and this is basically what happened after the court, and he was sent to jail. He's still in jail, and he was put into protective custody in the prison at the beginning because, and I quote, he f***ed little kids, so the prisoners are gonna f*** him even harder. But later he was removed for trying to smuggle contraband. The other part is that his daughter, 16 now, went to visit him with her mother just to disown him, as her father, when he arrived at the little phone booth thing, she said that half his hair was pulled out, and he was bruised, and his uniform was dirty with who knows what, and he could barely walk. It was the beatings he got, or the stick up the bum. The rest of the girls and I don't really know, but I talked to a few of them a month ago, and 12 and 13 is doing fine. The 13th one isn't bad, but isn't good. She has night terrors from it, and has a service dog to help. Chomos, man. Ugh. I mean, I'm sure that guy is not having a good time in prison. But, you know, it's kind of a reality check when rapists and murderers look at you like you're a piece of dog. Old Dayton did a little bit of time, about 6 months. And one of the things that made the time go faster than any other was just watching child molesters get wrecked all the time. Anytime they're alone, they just get their asses kicked. And it's basically nothing except what they deserve. In that you can't take advantage of the innocent, and the only reason that you would do that is because you're not a tough enough person to take advantage of anybody else except a child. You're weak, and what happens to weak people in prison? They get ate up. I'll be honest, it really doesn't feel like an Entitled Parents post. It's just kind of really off the radar, ridiculous, disgusting. Speaking of disgusting, how did OP see the cum stains on the underwear? I want to know all about that. Were you like up close inspection? Did you hear about it through the law enforcement? We can't really ask because the account was deleted. Not because this was a fake post, apparently, but just because, you know, throwaway. Throwaway, bruh. And I can't blame her for that, I suppose. We're just gonna move on into the next story and call that one a wrap. Disgusting! The end. Let's get into the next story. Entitled mother waits until I go to the bathroom and then lets her kid eat all my food at a restaurant. Nice. Hungry boy. Hey guys, so been quite a while since I posted here. I was in luck. No Entitled Parents in sight for so long. But it looks like my luck ran way out yesterday. Here we go. EM Entitled Mom. EK, Spawn of Satan. DD, Decent Dad. AM, Amazing Manager. Alright, let's dive into some context here. So in my city, amid the whole pandemic, patio dining just started opening in restaurants. I've been super careful during this whole thing. Social distancing, the whole bit. Yesterday, I finally decided I wanted to go eat at a restaurant for the first time since March, and this one great restaurant near my house was doing patio dining. I show up and grab a table and place my order. Shortly after my food comes, Entitled Mother and Entitled Kid take a seat at the table nearest to me. I really needed to pee, and I had a whole bunch of stuff with me. I'd been running some errands, so I turned to Entitled Mother and asked if she would mind watching my stuff from her seat while I went to the bathroom. She was super sweet. "Oh sure, go ahead, honey." And then I went on my way. But then, oh lord, when I came back, I didn't even know what the f*** I was looking at. There was the spawn of Satan sitting in my seat with his bare hands shoveling my food into his mouth. All of my bags were rummaged through and full of food from his dirty hands, and Entitled Mother was just sitting at her table scrolling through her phone. OP, what the hell happened here? Entitled Mother, "Oh hey sweetie, looks like he took a real liking to your food. He just couldn't keep his paws off." OP, ma'am, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and you don't know where I've been, and I don't know where your child's been, yet you thought we could just share food? He's eaten almost all of it. And what about my stuff? Entitled Mother, "Excuse me, you mangy tween." Mangy tween? I'm 19, by the way. "I wasn't gonna say anything, but you don't need to be eating all of that food, unless you want to get fatter than you already are. I also don't like you implying that my baby has something. As for your stuff, he saw some stupid knickknacks he wanted to play with in there. What did you want me to do about it? Quit whining and eat the rest of your food." Oof. I'm in no way overweight right now, but as someone who struggled hard with eating disorders in the past, I was seeing red. Oh, and those stupid knickknacks she mentioned, 90% of it was birthday presents for my mom, whose birthday is coming up next weekend. Oh, and all the while, as we're arguing, Entitled Kid is still eating. Entitled Mother and I start raising our voices when the amazing manager finally comes out. Entitled Mother, "Thank God you're here. This mangy child is trying to take our food and our stuff right over here. I'd like you to call the police." He looked at Entitled Mother, and then back at me, and then back at Entitled Mother. Amazing manager, "Ma'am, I'm not sure if you're maybe not in the right mindset. You seem maybe a little unhinged. But I was actually here when this young lady came in and ordered. I actually brought her food out since we're understaffed. I mean, I surely could have mistaken you two if you weren't a hag, but unfortunately for you," shrug. At this point, a man arrives, our decent dad. I don't actually know for sure, but I'm assuming he showed up late to join Entitled Mother and Entitled Kid for lunch after work because he was on a call still. He noticed the commotion, and with a "here we go again" look, he hung up and came over. I explained the whole situation to him, and the Entitled Mother gave her twisted side of the story, and he immediately believed me, which makes me think that she's definitely pulled some BS like this before. Decent dad, honey, let's just leave, please. Come on. Amazing manager, yeah, you guys are definitely leaving, but you still have this young lady's meal to pay for, and whatever reimbursement is needed for these items you ruined. Unless you'd like the police to be involved. Entitled Mother, "Ha! In your dreams, I'm not giving you or this child a penny. Let's go." Grabs the kid and starts leaving and motions for Decent Dad to follow her. Decent Dad really silently came up to me, and Amazing Manager, and started apologizing profusely, and taking out money from his wallet to give to me. Decent Dad, here, please take this. I'm so sorry. Genuinely, I'm looking into a divorce currently with my lawyer, but she just can't know about it quite yet. Here, I'm really sorry about your stuff and your food. Please just replace everything on me. I am so sorry. He closed his wallet and left, while still apologizing. I feel so bad for that guy. Jeez. I hope he gets out of that situation ASAP. Anyways, I think I'm gonna find some comfort knowing that Entitled Mother has a surprise divorce fastball heading her way. That's gonna be a fun time for Decent Dad and pure amusement for little old me. TLDR. I just hate people like this that laugh while saying something horrible or doing something horrible and they think that makes it alright. Like, "Oh, he's just taking a real liking to your food." I'm like, "Oh, that's great." And I frisbee the plate right at her head. Boom! Take that, Entitled Mom. What a piece of human. And raising a piece of human. I don't know how Decent Dad ended up in this situation. He probably wakes up every morning and says that to himself. He's like, Jesus Christ. Another day of this, of cleaning up the messes of my crazy wife as she goes out on the town and just Tries to embarrass herself and her family. I mean, I know OP won't get to see the divorce proceedings or anything like that, but yeah, you could just rest assured. That lady's getting what's coming, you know? And really, if she were a decent person, she wouldn't have to worry about it, probably. I'm sure she was a decent person at one point, is the saddest part of all. But over the years, there's just been this slow transformation into Karen mode, you know? It all started with yelling at a manager that one time, and she's like, oh my god, I feel the rush of power. And now she does it every time they go anywhere. And now it's not just managers. Innocent bystanders are are getting caught up in the crossfire. It's just madness. It's absolute madness. And I honestly don't think that the divorce is going to, like, fix her attitude or anything. It's probably going to make it worse, all things considered. But, you know what? At least decent dad will get out of the situation. And he can go live his new life, while entitled mother stays bitter for the next 20 years about how he left her high and dry. Even though she totally deserved it. What a wild story. Anyways, one more story, and then I'm going to get out of here. I know this episode is beefy, but I said in the beginning it was going to be beefy, right? So let's hit it. Entitled mom tells me she lives in my house after refusing to leave my property. You live here? No, I live here. EM entitled mother, CD, chill dad, LB, little brat. So I live on a river, and it's a very popular place during the summer. I have some riverfront property, and my house looks onto the river across the street. I've always had problems with people littering and destroying my Riverview front property, so I try to make it look secluded. But this made it worse. Usually I would have to tell people that they're on private property and point at several signs, and they would leave. But some people are different. Well, today we had a different person. At around 12:45, I saw entitled mother and little brat waltz right onto my property past the 2 no trespassing signs. At first I thought they didn't see the signs, so I went down to tell them how it's private property. OP, hey ma'am, could you please find somewhere else to swim? Entitled mother, what? No, we got here first. OP, that's not my problem. Entitled mother, well then leave us alone. OP, but this is private property. Entitled mother, yeah, I know, points at the sign. OP, so could you leave? Entitled mother, no, rolls eyes. OP, but even you said it's private property. At this point I was getting really frustrated because she even admits that it was private property, but what she said next made me pissed. Entitled mother, yeah, I own this property. Can't you see my house? Points at my house. OP, lady, that's my house. Now leave before I call the police. I take a step closer, hoping she'll back off. I couldn't be more wrong. Entitled mother, get away from my son, you pedophile! Just one of the 5 cards the Karens always play. I have no words for this, and I called the police. The police show up and start talking to us. PO is police officer. Hooray! Police officer, so what is the problem, sir? Entitled mother's a sir? Whatever. This man is trespassing and trying to molest my son. Police officer looks at me with that sorry man look, and I reciprocate. OP, look lady, I have my keys on me, so if you want to try and say that's your house, then we can test it out right now. Entitled mother, that's stupid. I don't need to prove anything. OP, well, I'll go show the police that I live there. Me, police officer, and entitled mother with little brat walk up to my house, and I open the door with my key and unlock my car in the driveway. Entitled mother tells the police officer that I stole her keys, and he tells her that she needs to leave. TLDR. Also edit. I've been getting a lot of questions about Chill Dad. I forgot to mention his part, but here he is. What? Entitled mother called Chill Dad trying to get him to confirm to the police officer that they lived in my house. He told her to let it go and leave. He then picked them up. P.S. Thank you for all the upvotes. Edit 2. Thank you for the gold. It's my first award. I'm really happy about it. Heart. I think it would be really easy to make, like, an entitled mother flowchart. You know what I mean? If you're met with righteous indignation and you have a child, then you scream pedophile. If you're met with righteous indignation and you don't have a child, then you scream rape. You see how that works? And then if the person that you're approaching kowtows to you, then you just take advantage of them as much as possible. If the cops show up and ask you to give something back, then you have to say that they stole it from you. Or that's what happened in the restaurant story previously, isn't it? The entitled mother was like, "Oh, she stole all my bags," and crap like that. It's just wild. These people are all cut from like the exact same cloth. I don't understand. Who are these people? Where are these people? I need to know where they are only so I can completely avoid them. I haven't encountered that many entitled parents, and thank God for that. Although there have been a few. There have been a few. I don't know where you live, OP, but maybe you should just invest in a shotgun. That'll keep people off your property real good. You just go out on the porch and go clack clack. Get off my property! And then if they say no, you shoot a pumpkin or something that you have nearby just for such occasions. And then it exploded, and you say, "You're next!" Clack, clack. And if they don't run at that point, then they have a death wish, and you'd be doing them a favor. Oh, it's wild. It's wild out here, I'll tell you what. But anyways, friends, that should be a fairly nice, beefy episode for you to chew on. Hopefully I'll get back to it tomorrow. I've not had the proper motivation recently. Just been feeling a little out of it, but we'll get back on the horse. You know how it goes. Anywho, I hope you like, comment, and or subscribe. If you did enjoy the episode, check out the links in the description to Twitter, Discord, Patreon, and also my other channels. And as always, I'd like to shout out to my patrons, Jess and Lol, Austin Lubitkin, Robert Waits, Dot Nathan, Crimson Albedo, Lady Nix, Radimus Cisco, Damon Darkstar, and the OG, Nico the Legend. I hope that you guys will join us tomorrow. I think we're going to do Petty Revenge or Nice Girls. I've been saying that for a few days now, but the time has almost come, the walrus said, to talk of many things. Whatever we decide to do, I hope that you'll join me for it. Please don't forget to wear your mask, wash your hands, and just take good care of yourself overall. Because you are special, you are loved, and you definitely deserve it. So I'll see you in the next one. And until then, friends, bye-bye.